want to speak briefly on Operation Reparation Smokescreen. Operation Reparation Smokescreen. Now, I see so many so-called Black Americans on YouTube, on Facebook, and they all seem to be excited that the Democrats, the presidential candidates, are talking about reparation. The key word is talking about reparation. For those of us who are awake, for those of us who pay attention, we are fully aware that this is no more than a smokescreen just to gain the so-called black vote. That's all they want, is the black vote. Now, there are Black Americans that will vote for them because in their minds, in their darkened minds, they really believe that they're going to give them reparations without even taking the time out to think. So far, they've gotten women all of these rights. They supported the Me Too movement, the feminist movement. They supported the gay and transgender rights. They supported the illegal immigrants, and they're still fighting hard for the illegal immigrants. In New York State, they have even given the illegal immigrants the right to drive, driver's license. They just passed laws. And if the Republicans rejected it, they still fought hard to make these things come to pass. But not one time did I ever hear them fight in the history of America. Keep in mind, in the history of America, even when we had a so-called black president in the history of America, I've never saw them fight so hard, even when police was killing unarmed black men. Even when Sandra Bland was killed by police. When Trayvon Martin was killed by police, by George Zimmerman. And even the young man that was in Las Vegas that was in a chokehold for selling bottled water without a license. But not one time did I ever hear the Democrats, the politicians, the presidential candidates fight to say, listen, we have to do something about police brutality upon black people. Black people are targeted. Black people are being killed, are being harassed just because of the fact that they are so-called black people. But I don't hear any Democrat politician discussing that. Baltimore would not have even been in the map. Nobody would have ever given Baltimore a second thought if President Trump had not mentioned how it's rat infested, how it's a slum, how billions of dollars was going into Baltimore and yet nothing was being done. That's the only reason why they're paying attention to Baltimore right now. And think of the water problem that's in Michigan. I don't hear anything about that poisoned water in Michigan that the residents are drinking. Now, at one time, they were taking bottled water there, only because of the fact that it was in the news. But we don't hear anything about that water situation. Was that water situation resolved in Michigan? Is that the reason why we don't hear about it? Is it because they took care of it? So for them to now talk about reparations if I become president is what they're saying. And before they started talking about reparation, before they decided to move the discussion forward, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders came right out and said that they don't support it. They talked about how they're in favor of helping everybody, America, but yet an agenda that's specifically for so-called Black Americans, there is none. They're only talking about reparations now because they want your votes. Black people are monetized. Black people are being used politically. They're political pawns. They're political pawns only when they want your vote, your support, and your energy. So you mean to tell me that illegal immigrants now have a license to drive? Cuomo pushed it forward without the public's opinion. He just did it. The lawmakers did it. But yet reparations, they have to discuss it. And you get reparations only if they say, I become president. But yet no one is moving forward to make it come to pass. What can you show me before you become president that make me think that you're able to make it happen when you become president? If you're in Congress now, if you are a lawmaker now, a lawmaker right now, why do I have to wait until you become president for this to happen? But yet, women's rights didn't have to wait. The Me Too movement didn't have to wait. Gay rights and transgender rights did not have to wait. They forced it upon the population. They told business owners that you have to refer to that man as a she. In the workplace, if you don't refer to that man as a she, you get penalized, you get punished. Illegal immigrants, free healthcare. Think of the billions of dollars that's being spent for illegal immigrants, criminals that cross the border illegally. And that's their only agenda. They're only talking about reparations for political reasons, for political gains. But their agenda is to open the borders, to help those that are illegal, to give them health care, to find them jobs, to get them to become citizens so that they can become a political pawn, so that they could vote Democrat. So black people need to wake up. I'm preaching to the choir. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to the air. Because the more I make these videos and say this, the more other people make videos and say it, black people don't listen. Because they're caught up in their emotions. They're manufactured hate for Trump. They're conditioned hate for Trump. They're programmed hate for Trump. They claim they don't have the money and they would bankrupt this country to pay the so-called black people reparations. But yet they're wasting millions and billions of dollars in bogus Russia investigations and lawsuits. Think of the money that they wasted, that they spent for all of these protesters to protest President Trump. These illegal immigrants are being funded to get them from where they live to here at the border. They're being transported. Think of the number of dollars. You have Democrat politicians that's sending people to these countries to teach them, the illegal immigrants, how to cross the border illegally. Money is being spent for that. But for you to receive reparations for the slavery that your ancestors had to endure, for you to receive reparations for what the children of slaves have to endure, you have to vote me as president. We can't make this go forward until you vote me as president. Without taking the time to work with Trump, put aside their differences, put aside their hate, sit down, talk to Trump, come up with a reasonable decision that both sides can agree upon. Don't just say, okay, I'm going to submit this, knowing that the Republicans are going to reject it so that they can say, see, we submitted it, but they rejected it for political reasons, without discussing it with the Republicans, without working as hard as you're working for illegal immigrants to make it come to pass. Why do black Americans have to wait until you become president when you haven't done anything to this point, and you're still not doing anything for black community? There's money that's coming into these cities for the black community, but the black communities are not seeing those billions of dollars. That's why Trump talked about the billions that's going into Baltimore, and he says we need to investigate where's that money. And you have black people that's supporting these criminal politicians, these career criminal politicians that's ripping you off. You're defending them because they're Democrats or because they're black. So this is no more than a smokescreen. It's a plan, it's an operation to get your votes, so that they can bring the illegal immigrants in, so that the illegal immigrants can vote. At least the illegal immigrants are getting something in return. Black people are getting nothing but promises, empty promises. They're spending billions of dollars to get illegal immigrants into this country, and then providing health care, providing a place to stay, providing security, because they become a protected class, giving them a place to stay, making sure they're comfortable. And Ocasio-Cortez came back upset because she said they're drinking out of toilets. And keep in mind, they're drinking out of the same type of faucet that your sons and many of y'all had drank out of when you were in prison. But yet, Ocasio-Cortez never went inside the prisons and cried and was upset because the inmates are drinking out of toilets, as she say. But she was upset about the illegal immigrants drinking out of a toilet. Think about that. So this is no more than a smokescreen, just to get you to vote demon crap. Like I mentioned in the past, I'm voting Trump 2020. And California went as far as saying he's not going to be even put on the poll unless he show his tax returns. But none of them, Ocasio-Cortez, refused to show hers. Right? And that's not required. That has never been required for a president. But many of y'all are buying into that propaganda. So feedback, tell me what you think. Share this video, subscribe. Click on the PayPal link, support this channel. Or click on the Teespring link and buy some of the items. Until next time, I'm fearless.